Okay, the purpose of this video is it's all about how to lure your customer, how to stop them in their tracks. You may have a high footfall, but you need people at your store buying pies from you. So, and the first thing and the first way of reeling them in or getting their attention is the thing you stick out on the street if you're allowed, and that's your A board. So we've got some A boards here. We're going to do a review of them. So the first one here is nice use of colour. It's got not too much content, which is super. It's got a nice little picture. The only thing I will say about this one is it's not been cleaned properly. The reason you have one of these, it's not for your van, it's not for your hands, it's to clean your A board. It can take about 3 attempts to get an A board completely clean. Again, I actually like the content. It tells people what we've got. It's to grab my attention. But it's a shockingly dirty board. It's not been cleaned properly before it was chalked. This one, I think that's actually been cleaned okay. It's just been smudged since. I think this has got too much content, and I don't think people will get people's attention. Interesting facts, but too many of them. And you don't really necessarily need broccoli at the top. The other side, this is a criminal offence. Whoever's done this has used a pen, a chalk pen. They haven't written anything obscene, so it's not been done by Tim. But you can't do that because we can't remove that. So don't ever use a chalk pen. This is a really good effort. Look at that. Use of colour. British Pie Week topical. Not too much information on there, and it's been nicely cleaned before it was chalked. That would certainly get my attention. What do you think, Paul?
I think it's very good. Also, ends with open now, so it's just inviting people in. It's that part of that invitation. And again, with something topical, it's always good to have something. So if there's a cup final going on, if there's something major happening, if there's an election, there's always something you can play with on that one. Sometimes raise a bit of a giggle with people, and they come and look. And if they do have a giggle, they come to you. They're already well disposed towards you.
Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what I would put on an A board, and I would have two messages. One different message on each side. This has been clean. It's clean, other than the chalk pen. So I put a really, really strong message. And I'll just put something like. There you go. Can you read that? Penguin pies. And that is guaranteed to stop people dead in their tracks. They'll look at that, you see they're looking at that, and then you call them over. Don't be scared of eye contact. They've seen the sign, they then relate the sign to the stall, catch their eye, and then smile. And then greet them. Good morning, good afternoon. Not, hey up, or how are you? It's, hello mate, none of that. It's good morning, good afternoon, and smile. And then offer them a sample. This is a foil used from a large pie that you've already cut and stacked. You just use the foil as your sample tray. And you pick it up and you rattle it. And they can't help themselves. They'll just come over and try a sample. And it's then that you can start to engage with them. Let's just talk about queuing. One of the things is, if there's no one at your stall, a lot of people, and you're standing there, and you can't sit down on this job, you're standing there, it can be quite a barrier for them to overcome, for them to actually come forward. They can be intimidated by just you standing at the stall. Never cross your arms like that, because that's basically telling them no entry. Always smile. If you've got a queue, or there are people interested in these samples, other people will come. It's just the thing. The Germans don't like to do it, but the British do. We like to queue. We really do like to queue. One way of starting a queue, if you haven't got a queue, is you actually go around the front yourself, and you stand like this at the front of the stall. See, it looks like I'm a customer because you can't see my apron. And I'm standing at the stall and I'm looking at the pies. Next thing I know, somebody's going to stand behind me. and then you go, ha ha, I work for Brockerby's, and then you introduce the pies to them and so on.
Equally, if you're around here just doing a bit of tidy, because periodically you need to go around the front just to make sure everything still looks right and the samples haven't slumped, that sort of thing. Even just doing that, people will come. And then, rather than do the flash, what I tend to do is I say, oh, have you seen these? Absolutely gorgeous. Do you know what? And I'll pick up one over there and say, do you know what? I'll be pointing at that lovely moon blue as I'm coming round, keeping eye contact with them. That lovely moon blue. That's national champion. That's fantastic.
Great.
And it's just keeping that continuity, because if you talk to them when you're at the front, as you're walking around, keep talking. And it just keeps them there. And also it means that by the time you get round this side, they're not likely to walk away.
If you're at your stall and you are not doing anything, then you are probably more intimidating than if you're at your stall and you're busy cleaning your chopping board at the back or arranging. If you're busy, then they find it less prohibitive to actually come forward and have a look at your pies, and then you can engage them as well.
Because people are often frightened of that you, because they think you're going to sell me something, and they really don't want to have have the pressure put on them. So it's going to be a nice relaxed introduction.